A few years ago, I lost over 35 pounds following a low calorie density plant based diet. On this channel, I have over 100 videos sharing what I eat in a day with healthy, easy meal ideas that you can try out, as well as my best tips that I've learned over the years for losing weight in a sustainable way and really keeping it off effortlessly long term. Now, today I just want to chat a little bit about what it takes to keep weight off long term and some of the stumbling blocks that can prevent you from really achieving your weight loss goals and maintaining it long term. I'm also going to just show you while I'm talking an example of what I currently eat in a day. So, I want to share with you a quote that I got from a capsule wardrobe video by a girl named Bridget Fisher. She said that some limitations are a pathway to freedom. And I really feel like that applies to healthy eating and diet in general. Because I think overwhelm and overcomplicating things are two of the biggest roadblocks and just the reasons that people give up with their healthy eating plan and just feeling frustration about, the choices that they're having to make on a daily basis and not knowing what to do. You just feel overwhelmed. Maybe you're following what 10 different weight loss influencers or gurus are doing online and you get confused or you just feel like you don't even know what you should be eating anymore. So I talk a lot about keeping it simple, and I mean that in all aspects. First, keep it simple with the food. The less processed, the better. We all know, whether you are vegan or not, that least processed foods are healthier for you. The ones that don't contain a lot of additives or unnecessary chemicals or a ton of salt, oil, and sugar. So the more you can stick with the whole plant foods, the natural foods, and the unprocessed foods, the better you're going to be. And also those foods tend to be less expensive as well. Next, trust yourself. When you feel overwhelmed because you're trying to follow what someone else did to lose weight and it just kind of feels like you're having to work harder than you should, trust yourself. That's because what works for one person might not be doable for you because of your lifestyle. It might just not feel right for some reason or another. And maybe you don't even like the food that they're eating necessarily. You have to, no matter what diet you're following, you have to be able to enjoy your meals. They have to be meals that you can prepare easily and not have to follow complicated recipes every day. You should be able to kind of live on autopilot when it comes to preparing your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And once you kind of get into that deep groove and you don't even have to think about what you're going to make anymore, you know what you're ordering for groceries, you know what, 3 to 5 easy breakfast, lunches, and dinners that you can just make on repeat, life gets a lot easier and the weight loss kind of takes care of itself because you're really living in the flow of it. Now, it doesn't always feel like that at the beginning. So if you have to have 5 to 10 times of starting over again, just be gentle with yourself. It's normal, it can happen, and life happens. So be patient, stick with it, and even if you don't stick with it, just get back on it and start again. Start again with your next healthy meal. As a matter of fact, a lot of the comments that I get say something along the lines of, I know what to do, but I just can't seem to get myself to do it. And I find that the overwhelm is a big part of why that is. Next, I believe in the limitation aspect from that quote from Bridget Fisher, which was to just basically give yourself less choices. I have that healthy, simple meal formula that I talk about in a lot of my videos, which is greens, beans, and wet starch. I like that because it takes a lot of the effort and the thought process out of what you're going to eat. Because it's really easy to just boil or bake a sweet potato, have a half a can of beans or chickpeas warmed up, and then a big handful of salad greens or some steamed broccoli and drizzle some ketchup on it. call it a meal. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, it shouldn't be complicated. If you are someone who is into gourmet cooking and baking and that is your passion, then by all means get creative with these, low-fat, whole plant food ingredients and make some really yummy dishes. But if you don't have the time, you don't need to feel like that is what your whole, meal, all of your meals need to be comprised of. Just have some easy meals like oatmeal and berries in there, maybe some plant milk. And if you do feel like you need some sweetener, you can add a bit of stevia or a little bit of jam. Again, it's just about finding a system that works for you long term. Keeping it simple is key. And maybe you can just sit down with a cup of tea one day and a notebook and a pen and ask yourself, what are some ways I can simplify my diet to make this easier for myself? If you're someone who feels like you're in those shoes where you feel like, I know what to do, I know what I should be doing, why do I keep ordering the junk food? Why am I getting fast food? Why am I getting delivery? Why am I stopping for pizza or deep fried foods when I know I can prepare some healthy meals at home? So start with your next meal. Don't feel like you need to commit to an entire lifetime from here on out of being perfect. That's another way we're going to set ourselves up for failure. Start with your next meal. Decide now, while you're watching this video, what is your next meal going to be? Make it really simple, really easy, and then you can be proud of yourself that you stuck with what you said you were going to do and build upon that. And after that, the next meal, and then the next meal, and then the next day, and then you can plan your next week of simple meals and write it down. Simplify your grocery shopping as well. If you feel overwhelmed with cooking and chopping and steaming and peeling everything, then there's no one that says you can't use frozen vegetables, frozen pre-chopped fruit for your smoothie or your oatmeal bowl. Those things are there for you, and they're definitely convenient, and they're going to help you save time and sometimes also help with food waste. So another thing I would say is don't be afraid of canned beans. When I was in my weight loss phase, something that I did was I would make, because I'm by no means a gourmet chef, I would make a big bowl of sweet potato black bean chili because it was one of the only dishes that I was really proud of. It was really filling. I created this recipe and I just thought, this is really yummy. I could eat this all the time and it doesn't feel like diet food or weight loss food at all. And I would make a huge portion and I would eat until I'm comfortably full, leave it to kind of just cool down on the stovetop with a lid. And when I was hungry, I just went and got another bowl of that. And that was 2 meals. And I didn't have to think about the next meal. It was just easy. So I guess the overall message of this video is just a little friendly reminder to keep it simple, be easy on yourself, be kind and loving to yourself, and take it one day at a time. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.